This guy is stuck in a pool together with an alligator. Guy is stuck in a pool for a whole week without any food. Moreover, there is a giant alligator in the pool with him. How can he fight against it and survive while starving? Watch this classic Thai horror movie with me. The main character here is Jay, who works for an advertisement company. His team goes to an abandoned swimming pool to shoot a video one day. The pool's depth is 6 meters. The shooting day goes smoothly. In order to make it more interesting, Jay even brings his dog to the shooting scene. The dog follows Jay's whistle to jump into the pool in the final scene. Everyone is happy at the shooting. After that, everyone leaves except for Jay. He wants to stay behind to clean up. He lies down on a float to relax. His colleague starts to drain the water from the pool, chains the dog so that it will not jump into the pool, and tells Jay that the water is draining. He recommends Jay go out of the pool soon. Then he leaves with his suitcase to go traveling. Jay doesn't take his teammates' words seriously. He still lies down on the float and starts to fall asleep. Suddenly, the dog barks like crazy and wakes Jay up. He realizes that the pool is already half empty. Unfortunately, this pool doesn't have a way up. You can't climb up out of the pool yourself. Jay rushes to use his hands to hold on to the drain hole on the wall, which makes his nail come off. He must let it go and use his cloth belt to wrap his injured finger. Then he tries to use his float to go near the wall. He plans to stand on it to climb up, but the float is not stable enough to hold on to Jay's weight. He doesn't know what to do, so he tries to call for help. But this is an abandoned pool. There is no one around to help him. He remembers his phone is on the ground. At this time, his girlfriend calls him. The phone vibrates and moves itself to go near the edge and almost falls into the water. The dog starts to bark again. It wants to go to the pool to help Jay. However, the chain almost kills it, so Jay has to try to use the float to help the dog. The phone falls but is held by the plugging charging cable. Now it is hanging in the air. This makes Jay think of a new plan. He swims there and tries to grab the phone. However, he slaps it too hard, making it fall into the water and break. See, you always have to equip yourselves with a waterproof phone. At this time, a pizza delivery man comes. It's bad timing because Jay is at the bottom, trying to use his jacket to stop the drain hole. Unlucky for him, a chain on his trouser gets stuck in the hole, making him struggle at the bottom of the pool trying to get unstuck. On the ground, the shipper looks around but sees no one. He calls to confirm that this is the right delivery address. It turns out that Jay's colleague ordered the pizza for Jay before leaving. When seeing no one, the shipper just puts the pizza there and leaves too. By the time Jay can go on the water, the shipper has already started his bike and left. Without hearing Jay screaming for help, Jay feels hopeless now. He decides to lie down to rest on the float. Not long after that, Jay's girlfriend comes to look for him. She doesn't know the situation. Just seeing him relaxing on the float, she wants to surprise him by jumping into the pool to join him. The dog barks to stop her. The noise wakes Jay up and Jay yells to stop her. However, sudden noise startles her and makes her trip, hitting her neck on the cement and falling into the pool. She is bleeding a lot, making the water turn red. Jay was probably born under a bad star with a series of unlucky things happening to him. Now it starts raining. An alligator escaping from a nearby zoo finds its way to the pool. The dog barks when seeing the alligator. The alligator actually wants to eat the dog. However, it trips and falls straight into the pool. Jay feels so desperate now. He keeps going back and forth between the surface and the bottom of the pool trying to navigate the alligator's location. Thankfully, it doesn't attack immediately but finds a hideout first. Jay feels his brain can break any time now from stress. He just stays in the water to stare at the alligator for the whole night until all of the water is out. His girlfriend is still in a coma without any sign of waking up soon. Jay finds a pregnancy test in his girlfriend's pocket and realizes that she's pregnant with their child. He is motivated to get both of them out. However, first, he has to bandage his girlfriend's injury on her head. The only way to do it is with the tape that his colleague threw into the pool earlier. Unluckily, the tape is inside the alligator's mouth. Jay tries to be quiet while approaching the alligator and successfully retrieves the tape from its mouth. After that, he quickly tapes his girlfriend's injury, putting some drops of water into her mouth to help her survive. He opens the drain hole and realizes that under the pool is an underpass. He follows the pass and reaches a narrow space. Unexpectedly, the other side of the underpass is locked by a brand new, secured lock. Jay's previous life was probably really terrible that now karma tries to play tricks on him. At this time, the alligator crawls near the passed out girlfriend. Jay rushes back and grabs its tail to throw it aside. finally, his girlfriend wakes up but she's really weak now. At night, the smart dog throws the pizza into the pool for them. After getting some food, they regain some strength to continue the fight. Jay uses the tape to write help on the ground in really big letters with the hope that someone will see it from above. On the fourth day, the alligator gives birth to a bunch of eggs. That's why it didn't attack, because it wants to save the energy for giving birth. Jay pretends to pass out to lure the alligator to come near him. The alligator thinks that Jay is sleeping, so it crawls towards him and falls into the drain hole, being covered by Jay's jacket. Now the alligator is gone, even in a desperate situation. Jay doesn't think they should eat those eggs raw. They try to start a fire to boil the eggs. After eating, they have more strength and try to think of a plan to escape the pool. However, this pool is 6 meters in depth. Even if they have something to stack up, it's really difficult to get out. They come up with another plan. They decide to open the drain hole to let the alligator out for them to hide in the drain hole instead. They successfully have a full night of rest in the narrow space in the underpass. The next day, there is a parachute flying across the sky. He comes back to the pool trying to call for help. However, it turns out that it's just a drone. At this time, heavy wind blows a steel cable to fall in one end of the pool. Jay takes a risk to hold on to it. The steel cable cuts his hands, making him bleed a lot. After suffering the pain for a while and trying to continue to climb, he is almost there at the edge. His hope dies again when the other end of the cable drops, making him hit the bottom of the pool again and pass out. He wakes up in pain when the alligator tries to bite his leg. His strong survival instinct helps him to use a bucket in the pool to attack the alligator back. The alligator seems to give up when it turns around and goes. He wants to wait for him to die and eat him later. Then, it's raining really hard. Jay tries to stand up, lift the couch and crush on the alligator. Running to hide in the underpass, his mind becomes clearer now. This is a really long underpass. They can explore the other way. He crawls, following the opposite way of the underpass. At the other end, he sees some light, which is also his hope. He quickly opens the hole and realizes there are 2 pools connecting with each other. He just goes from the other one to this one. He is screaming in the rain in despair. Jay can't do anything other than crawl back to his girlfriend to check on her. He tries his best, but being tired, stressed, and losing too much blood exhausts him. He passes out before reaching his girlfriend. At this time, the drone appears again, going around, and stops in the pool. There are 2 people who suddenly appear. They use the ladder to go into the pool to get the drone. Looking at the help sign and bloodstain, they don't think of someone who may need help here but feel scared that something spooky might happen. They quickly leave. Jay can't call them, but luckily, the ladder they used is still there. He only needs to go over there and all of this can end. At this time, the alligator is back full of strength. It wants to get revenge for itself and its babies. For himself and his girlfriend's life, Jay suffers the pain to wrap the steel cable around his hand to fight against the alligator. Unexpectedly, because of the rain, the heavy cement tubes were used to anchor the ladder strip and pull the ladder away from the pool. On the other side, the girlfriend, scared of the alligator, used a bucket to stop the drain, and now is stuck in the waterful underpass. Jay now passes out. He seems to give up on the fight against the alligator. He just stays still and lets the alligator eat him. At this moment, he hears a whistle from his girlfriend. He is motivated again. He gets up, using a pole that he jams into the alligator's mouth, making it stuck there. Hearing the whistle triggers the dog to jump into the pool, but it forgets it is chained. The chain hangs and kills it. Jay's girlfriend seems to almost drown too. At this painful moment, Jay holds a pole, jumps up, and stabs through the alligator's head, killing it instantly. He uses the dog's body as a ladder to climb out of the pool and finally gets out. He runs to the other drain hole, using a pole to open it, and saves his girlfriend. After a long struggle, they finally save themselves out of the deadly pool and wait to welcome their first child together. Thank you for watching the movie with me. See you next time.